Hey there. Ready to jump into this whole AI thing? I know you're here for a reason. This stuff is everywhere we look, and for good reason, right? It seems like every single day there's something new about AI popping up. So let's try to break it down a little, how AI is actually changing things up in our everyday life.
And that's what we're hoping to do, help everyone make sense of it all.
Exactly. Cut through the hype. Right.
It's very easy to get caught up in the hype, yeah. But we're aiming to give you a good understanding of AI's real impact on the ground, so to speak.
Love it. And I'm fascinated by the fact that AI can actually create things now. We're talking
Yeah.
articles, we're talking stories, even art and music, with like minimal human input, which just seems crazy to even say out loud.
Right.
It was basically unheard of until very recently. Yeah. ChatGPT, Gemini, these are just a couple examples. But I feel like that's just like scratching the surface. What's so interesting is what this means for creativity in general.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing here is that it's making creativity, these tools, accessible. It didn't used to be that way. You needed specialized skills, expensive software, all this stuff to produce something that, was professional quality.
Mm.
But AI is changing that. Those barriers are coming down.
So are we saying that like anyone with an internet connection could be the next big novelist, filmmaker, musician, just by learning how to talk to an AI?
In a way, yeah. Think about how different that is from the traditional art world. Like, are we headed to a future where it's algorithms that are the new Picassos? Or maybe some kind of fusion? Human and AI creativity combined into something totally new.
Whoa, that's a question, right? And while we're trying to wrap our heads around AI as this creative force, there's also that whole other side of it.
Yeah.
The potential for, using it to deceive, things like deepfakes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to have AI write a poem. It's a whole other thing when it can create a fake reality, like perfectly.
Yeah, you're right. And it's both amazing and kind of unsettling, this ability of AI to create these realistic videos, but fake.
Right.
We've all seen those videos, right? Celebrities, politicians, saying things they never actually said, doing things they never did. And as you can imagine, it brings up some pretty serious issues.
Yeah, no kidding. It makes you question everything. Have you ever, like, watched a video online and had that feel like, wait a minute, is this real?
Oh, all the time. And that's the thing. That's how deepfakes work. They chip away at our trust. It's getting harder and harder to figure out what's real, what's fake. And they're being used already for scams and stuff, like those fake Elon Musk videos going around trying to trick people.
Oh, yeah, trying to get you to invest in something. It's crazy. It's unsettling, honestly, how easy it is to be fooled by something that looks and sounds so real.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can't even trust what we see anymore, how are we supposed to deal with information online? Seems like we need new skills to, like, not get tricked constantly.
You're not wrong. Critical
Yeah.
thinking is more important now than ever. And media literacy too, right? We can't just take things at face value anymore. We got to question everything. Where's this information coming from? Who's behind it? What are their biases?
Yeah, it's like our instincts need an upgrade. We got to keep up with the tech.
Absolutely.
And speaking of upgrading, can we talk about AI companions? This one really blows my mind. Using AI as a tool, okay, I get it. But AI for companionship, for emotional support, that feels like a whole other level.
For sure, it's a big jump. We're not just talking about AI as a tool anymore. It's more like AI as a companion, maybe even a confidant.
But how does that even work?
Mm-hmm.
Can AI really understand and respond to human emotions? I mean, we're talking feelings here, not just data points.
That's where it gets really interesting. AI companions, they use something called sentiment analysis. Basically, they're designed to recognize and understand human emotions. How? Well, they analyze your words, tone of voice, even your facial expressions, all that stuff.
So it's like they're reading between the lines, picking up on these subtle things that, honestly, we might not even be aware of ourselves. And once they've got all that, what then? How do they use it?
So they take all that emotional data and they use it to tailor their responses to you. Some AI companions are more like a listening ear, a judgment-free zone to vent your feelings. Others are designed to offer encouragement or even challenge you, like a friend might.
Okay, that's kind of cool, actually.
It is interesting.
And then you bring AR, augmented reality, or even VR, virtual reality, into the mix. It gets even wilder. Imagine you're wearing AR glasses and your AI companion just pops up right next to you, ready to offer advice, tell a joke. Who knows? It's just like straight out of sci-fi.
I know, it really blurs those lines, doesn't it? And it makes you wonder, like, what happens to human relationships if we have these, I don't know, increasingly sophisticated AI entities fulfilling those roles?
Right. There's so much to unpack there. On one hand, it's really exciting, especially for people who have a hard time with social stuff or get lonely. But then I can't help but wonder, what about the long-term effects on how we connect as humans? Could we end up even more isolated if we're not careful?
Oh, absolutely a valid concern. And it's just one of those many, many questions, complex ones, that we got to figure out as AI keeps getting more integrated into our lives.
It's a lot. And speaking of complicated questions, probably the one on everybody's mind, AI and jobs.
Right.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
is it coming for our jobs? I know there's something you've been researching, so can you break it down for us?
Sure. I mean, it's a topic that understandably makes people a bit anxious,
Hmm.
right? This whole idea of robots replacing us. It's been a sci-fi thing for ages, but now it's like actually happening.
So not just hype. AI is automating jobs across all sorts of industries like now.
Yeah, I'd say so. And often it's doing those jobs more efficiently than humans ever could. Take self-driving cars, for example.
Oh yeah, good example. Those are all AI powered, and while they're still, in development, they could completely change transportation, right? Truck drivers, taxi drivers, even delivery services, all of that. That's a lot of jobs potentially affected.
Yeah.
But is it limited to like those types of jobs? What about, I don't know, office jobs, white collar stuff?
I think it's a mistake to think it's just blue-collar jobs at risk. Even super specialized fields like law, finance, they're not immune to AI automation.
Okay, now that's a little scary. I have heard of AI being used to analyze legal documents and things. Is it really that advanced?
It is. AI systems now can process tons of legal and financial data way faster, often more accurately than us. They can spot those patterns, catch mistakes, generate reports, stuff that used to take teams of lawyers, analysts, days, weeks even to complete.
So if AI is already doing that, what does that mean for someone listening to us right now?
Yeah.
What does it mean for their career, their future in this new kind of scary landscape?
$1 million question, right? It's something we should all be thinking about. The job market, it's changing. No question. We have to be able to adapt, learn new skills, maybe even be open to working alongside AI in ways we haven't even imagined yet.
So like our careers might not be a straight line anymore.
Right.
It's more like a winding road with all these unexpected turns.
That's a really good way to put it. Adaptability, lifelong learning, those are going to be key in this AI-powered world.
It's interesting you say that about the winding road because it's not just about like learning new software or whatever. This goes deeper. AI makes us really question some basic ideas about ourselves, about what it means to be human even.
Okay, now we're getting philosophical. I like it. What kind of ideas are we talking about?
Well, think about it. For centuries, we've said intelligence, that's a human thing. Nobody else has it, just us. But now we're building machines that learn, that reason, that solve problems
Mhm.
in ways we couldn't even imagine before. It's like, what even is intelligence anymore?
Right, that's huge. Are we really saying AI could be intelligent, like on our level, like us? That's the question, isn't it? The big one. Scientists, philosophers, they don't even agree if AI can be conscious, sentient like us. But the fact we're even asking means something, right? It means AI is already pushing those boundaries.
Yeah, no kidding. It really makes you think. We have machines writing poems, composing symphonies even. But can they feel what's behind those creations? Can they understand how beautiful a sunset is or how much heartbreak hurts?
That's the core of it all, and it changes how we have to look at AI. Let's say these machines really can do what we do at a human level, maybe even better in some ways. How do we treat them then? Are they just tools? Or do they deserve some kind of, I don't know, moral consideration? Like, do they have rights?
Wow. Yeah, those are some heavy questions.
They are, and there are no easy answers, not even close.
Right. We're figuring this out as we go, I guess.
Philosophers, ethicists, everyone's trying to figure it out. And whatever answers we come up with, they'll affect everything. The laws we make, policies, even just like our basic understanding of what a person is.
Yeah. It's almost too much to process sometimes.
It is a lot.
But we have to talk about it, right? It'd be irresponsible not to.
Yeah.
Because AI, it's not just changing our gadgets, it's making us rethink our values, what we believe, even our place in the universe. It's a big deal.
It is, and it's only going to get bigger, especially as AI keeps advancing so fast. I mean, look how much tech has changed even in the last few decades, right? Now imagine that speed, but it keeps going, gets even faster. That's what we're dealing with.
It's exciting and scary all at the same time. So much potential, but also so many unknowns. And it's easy to get stuck on those what ifs, right? The risks as AI, all the things that could go wrong. But what about the good stuff? I know we've touched on healthcare, but could AI help us with the really big problems too, like climate change, poverty, that kind of thing?
That's where it gets really interesting because AI can analyze tons of data, way more than we can handle. It can spot patterns, trends that we'd miss completely, and that lets us understand complicated systems like never before, maybe even come up with solutions to problems that have been around forever.
So instead of just replacing us, AI could actually help us fix some of the biggest messes we've made. Now, that's a much more optimistic way to look at it.
I think so. And it's already happening. AI is being used to make energy grids more efficient, develop new materials for renewable energy. It can even predict natural disasters more accurately.
No way. So it's not about robots taking our jobs. It's about robots maybe helping us save the planet.
Exactly. And don't forget about things like education, accessibility. AI could make the world a lot fairer. Imagine learning tailored to each student, their strengths, their weaknesses, or technology that helps people with disabilities participate more fully in society.
Yeah, it's a powerful thought that AI could help create a world that's more just, more equitable for everyone. Really makes you realize tech in itself isn't good or bad, is it? It's a tool. Like any tool, it depends on what we do with it, what we choose to use it for.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It all boils down to how we develop it, how we use it. And that's why these conversations are so important. We have to talk about the ethics, the social impact, make sure AI is developed fairly, transparently, and accountably.
So we're not just along for the ride, right? We have a say in this.
100%. We are at a turning point. The decisions we make now about AI, they'll echo for generations. No pressure, right?
Wow. Heavy stuff. This feels like one of those conversations that could just go on, and I kind of want it to, but we should probably be mindful of everyone's time.
Yeah, I feel that. So much to think about. If we had to sum up this whole conversation, one key takeaway, what would it be? If I had to pick one thing, it's that AI isn't some far off thing. It's not science fiction. It's here now, woven into everything, and it's only going to get more intense. More AI everywhere, which is both amazing and a little daunting. We got huge opportunities, but also a huge responsibility to get it right.
Totally. Opportunities to, like you were saying, solve these huge problems we face, but also the responsibility to make sure we're using AI ethically.
Yeah.
Not just for profit, but for good.
Exactly. And it all starts with awareness. We all need to understand how AI works, how it's being used, the good, the bad, all of it. Doesn't matter what you do for a living, this affects everybody.
For sure. Knowledge is power, right? The more we know about AI, the better we can navigate all this. But we don't all have to become like AI experts overnight, do we? Seems kind of impossible, actually.
No, definitely not. It's more about being curious, staying open to learning new things, and being flexible. Because AI changes fast, and we got to be ready to change with it. One thing's for sure, AI is not going anywhere. It's here to stay.
Which leads to the big question, I think. What are we going to do about it? What role are we going to play in this AI future? Are we just along for the ride? Or do we actually get to decide how this tech is used?
Such a good question, and it's one we should all be asking ourselves. Because the future of AI, it's not set in stone, it's what we make it. We decide collectively through the choices we make right now, today.
Man, so much to think about. What a conversation. Thank you so much for being here, for sharing your expertise with us. I feel like I've learned a ton.
The pleasure was all mine. These are the conversations we need to be having, so thank you for having me.
And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Keep those questions coming, keep learning, keep exploring. We'll see you next time.